I have been a seeker for years, and my inquiry is into the I am. And even though it stabilizes, however, I continue to suffer a lot from the attacks of the mind. Could you tell me something? So for those of you that are maybe new to my channel or don't know what Pablo means by the I am, I would just explain. So traditionally in non-duality, the way that it's taught is that what comes first is nothing, not a thing. So that's not like you imagine like a big black hole in the middle of space. Nothing is not a thing. So the start is not a thing. So you cannot imagine that. So it's not non-existence, because that's something. It's beyond that. It's nothing. Something which cannot be named and we cannot grab and find. So there is nothing. And then the first thing that comes into play is consciousness. I think this is the traditional teachings. I'm sure they teach it slightly different in variations. So you get the nothingness and then you got the consciousness. So you can have experiences where there's like consciousness of nothing, but it's not really nothing, but there's just consciousness. These can be awakening experiences. And that consciousness is before the body and the mind. So consciousness doesn't come from the brain comes from consciousness. So you got nothing and then you got consciousness. And then you've got, you need a form to experience things through. There has to be a form, because when you're in your state of just being consciousness without having a form to look through, then there's no things. So then consciousness looks through a body at a world. So you could think of the body a bit like these virtual reality goggles you put onto your head. And then you look through, like when I did a virtual reality quest in Berlin, I was cow. Unfortunately, I wanted to be a different animal, but I got confused in picking and ended up with a cow with hooves. And I was looking through a cow running around this spaceship. I also had a spacesuit on as a cow. Yes. So you could say like my avatar was the cow. So you could say these bodies are like avatars. So you got nothing, consciousness looking through the avatar at the body, at the world. I had to, when playing the virtual reality game, you have to be centered to something. Otherwise the whole world would be totally chaotic. So there has to be a body which is looked through. There has to be a position which is looked through. So you have the nothing, the consciousness, the body, and then when the body arises, there is this sense, this is the teaching, the sense of I am. So it goes consciousness, nothing, consciousness, the body, and then there is a sense that I am. Like there is a feeling of existing in this, like I am. Not I am the body, not I am something, just I am. So you've got the consciousness prior to the body and then the I am after the body and the world exists. And it kind of all collapses into one at the end, but this is the traditional teaching. Or some of the traditional teachings. It's very hard to summarize, eh? And then with the I am comes the whole world. So in a way, the whole world comes with the body, but it's just the line. So you've got consciousness, you've got nothing, consciousness, the body, the I am, and then the whole world. The world. And to me, the I am is love. So the I am part is love. So when you're born, there is a sense of being, but it's not anybody. There is this baby, but it's not anyone. It's not like, oh, I'm Joey living in a cot or sleeping in a cot and there's my mother. There is just this sense of being and this empty looking. And this being, this I am, isn't located anywhere. It's just a sense of existence. It's very beautiful. So what they also teach in some traditional non-duality ways is that you can kind of like move your attention and become conscious of the I am. And I can kind of see that, but in another way you can't really do that. But it's kind of taught like that. So it's like the personal awareness of the body can come conscious of the I am. So you can notice like I am. So I am before anything that you know of yourself. I am. There's this I am. This amness. And you can kind of see there can be something that knows that. I am. Yeah, this is. So there can be like the personal awareness can kind of in some way know this sense of I am, and it feels like love. And it never leaves, it's always here with the body, it's always in this moment. You can't ever escape this I am. Not I am good, I am Robert, I am Sarah, I am this, I am that, not I am anything. Prior to it going into anything, it's like this sense of I am. And so Nisargadatta Maharaj originally used to teach, and his teacher, that you put your attention in the I am. So that's what Nisargadatta did, and then he had this big awakening. For 3 years he did it all the time, putting his attention in the I am. You could also say like putting your attention in the present moment, because the I am is kind of the present moment. So it's like moving the personal awareness into the I am. And then you've got this consciousness which knows all of that, perceives all of that. So that's like the big consciousness. So you've got the personal awareness that's doing this practice, and then the big consciousness that knows the personal awareness of doing that, knows the I am, knows the world, knows everything. It just is knowing without anything. Yeah, and this can be really beautiful practice. It's what the Buddhists teach. They teach being in the moment. You've got to practice being in the moment. The Advaitas and the non-duality and the Hindus, it's like being in the I am, or being in the consciousness as well. The Zens, they teach this as well. Buddhists, some of them, they teach, focusing on the breath to bring you to this moment. Because the breath is always in this moment, they say. And to me, it's like you're in that practice, you're settling down the mind and highlighting this moment. So this moment is becoming more highlighted. Whereas before you're just lost in thought and it's all about this ego structure. Whereas when you begin to do this, you're kind of highlighting this moment more, and then the thought path or the neural pathways in the brain are becoming disrupted. And yeah, I think it's a really beautiful practice. However, like in this practice, this doesn't mean don't do it. You've got to begin to question, who is this person that is practicing the I am, and who is this person that's going to arrive at enlightenment? And see that these are also daydreams that are happening in time. So if you're really focusing on the I am, like really present, those ideas don't exist. But they are ideas. Even the idea that you're putting your attention in this moment. What happens in awakening is it kind of like this switches over, and it's like presence is everything. So it's no longer an activity as such. Although that activity can arise, it's also like this is you, and that person is secondary. Yeah, that makes it really complex. So the reason that you find it hard to stay in that is because, one, the tendency of the mind is to think. So you're not doing really bad by not staying in it. It's just the tendency, and you're reconditioning your mind. And number two is because of maybe unconscious stuff that hasn't been resolved in you. So say if you are with your mother in the kitchen and she is being passive aggressive to you, you might have like lots of seeking and resistance to that. So your body takes over and goes into like old patterns, and then you kind of like your attention is sucked into that. So then you can look, if there's things that you find that really distract you, you could look at doing trauma release, like some sort of talk therapy or sessions to try and understand like what's happening in your unconscious. The goal, however, is not, I don't see the goal as like putting your attention in I am, and then that one that's putting the attention in the I am will wake up. I see it as all these things get pulled away of what you believe yourself to be, and then at some point there is just a shift. There stops being that identification with it. But that's not saying don't practice that. I would say question who is practicing that. Like, practice happens, doing happens. Yeah.